Believe it or not, the original Destiny is now over 11 years old, releasing on September 9th, 2014. Despite all my grievances with this game over the years, from loving it to saying I was done, to saying that maybe I wasn't done, to saying this game is trash, to saying this game isn't trash, wow, we really have a toxic relationship with this game, don't we? Anyway, despite all that, I still find myself struggling a bit putting into words how big of an impact this franchise has had on my life, as cringe as that may sound. If you follow the game even slightly these days, you're almost certainly aware of the negativity surrounding its current state. And honestly, rightfully so. I made a video not too long ago discussing why I stopped playing Destiny after the final shape, and what sorts of things would need to change for me to come back. I think that video actually serves as a nice companion to this one, where this is the beginning, that video is the end of sorts, so I'll link it below in case you want to check it out. Excluding the Edge of Fate, I have played every single major piece of Destiny content, from Dinklebot all the way to Cade saving Nolan Bot's life. Didn't have to do that, Cade. I liked you more. However, these days I basically follow what's going on with Destiny by watching Aztec Cross videos. Something I would wager I am not alone in. It's like keeping tabs on an ex to see if they've changed. Anyway, for the sake of this video, we're going to take a trip down memory lane, focusing on the initial launch of Destiny 1. How was it received back then? And what's it like playing today, 11 years later? When Bungie first announced Destiny, it was clear they were aiming for something ambitious, a shared world shooter mixing MMO elements with their established FPS pedigree. Prior to its release, Bungie built up considerable hype with promises of expansive multiplayer worlds and a robust endgame experience. Saying people were excited for Destiny would be an understatement. On September 9th, it launched on the current and last-gen consoles at the time, and it sold a lot of copies, making over $500 million. Enough money to keep Pete Parsons' garage filled for another 9 years. While Destiny achieved financial success, the critical acclaim didn't quite match that. The initial reception of Destiny was generally positive, but mixed, leaving a lot of people disappointed. Critics and players alike praised the game's core gunplay, music, and art direction, but felt the game lacked depth in its storytelling and endgame. We wouldn't fully piece this together until a few years later, but according to multiple insiders, Bungie leadership decided to scrap the original story for Destiny created by Joseph Staten about a year before the game's release. This reboot restructured many of the game's characters, missions, and plot points, leading to extensive story rewrites, mission rearrangements, and reuse of cut content, splicing it all together into the Frankenstein monster that was the final form players experienced. Staten reportedly left the studio during this overhaul, as much of his mythology was sidelined entirely or moved into external lore sources like Destiny's Grimoire cards, which became infamous for only being accessible outside of the game on Bungie's website. Many people attribute Destiny's fragmented and confusing campaign to this last-minute restructure. Martin O'Donnell, the game's composer, was fired in April of 2014 in a departure that removed his signature musical influence from the final development of the game. Many of his tracks were still included in the original soundtrack, though fragmented and used differently from his original vision. It took many years, but you can now listen to his foundational pieces of music on public platforms like Spotify. Widely known within the Destiny community as the music of the spheres, they are the first 8 tracks in the Destiny official soundtrack now, and they are simply beautiful pieces of music you should really listen to regardless of how much Destiny you've played. I very much believe when people say Destiny doesn't feel the same anymore, the feeling they're referring to is how Martin O'Donnell's music made Destiny feel. Despite all of this working against the game, Destiny still found a sizable community, mainly due to, again, its core gameplay, exotic weapons, atmospheric world, and its raid, the Vault of Glass, which was arguably the game's crown jewel. Throughout its first year, Bungie steadily expanded upon the game with the release of 2 major pieces of content, The Dark Below and The House of Wolves. These 2 expansions managed to address some early concerns, but were kinda more of the same. If you were already out on Destiny, these probably weren't going to bring you back. The Dark Below most notably brought another raid into the game, and the House of Wolves legacy is likely the Trials of Osiris, a 3v3 Crucible event that quickly became the most popular competitive activity in the game. Trials was so sweaty and frustrating, but man was I excited to play it every weekend. The Prison of Elders, which was the other big piece of content in the House of Wolves, was its endgame raid-like experience, you could say. I can still vividly remember running into the arena, popping the Titan bubble, hitting Skolas with 7 Gallahorn rockets, quickly using the ammo synth, more Gallahorn to kill him, then disarming the mines. Back in the day, people used to cheese everything. Back when Destiny was fun, before Bungie got wise. I miss you, baby. With that first year of Destiny now summarized, we can discover what it's like playing today in 2025. Now, obviously, the original game was updated with content from The Taken King and Rise of Iron in 2015 and 2016 respectively, so that original year one state is simply not something we can fully simulate anymore, something I pretty quickly was reminded of while exploring in the Cosmodrome. So if you run through the campaign, man, hey, oh my, the range on that is so much less than it is in Destiny 2. Oh, but yeah, if you just like come here without, you know, running through it on a new character, do you just see the Taken out here, even though like they're not even thematically supposed to exist yet with orcs? That'd be kind of weird. Upon re-downloading Destiny on my PS5, I experienced several revelations. First of all, I have played over 4,000 hours of Destiny 1. Something God himself will probably ask me to explain on the day I die. Look, I was in high school at the time. What was I supposed to do, my homework? Don't tell my mom. Secondly, Destiny 1 still runs at 30 FPS. Full disclosure, I was already expecting to get cooked for this gameplay footage considering I have exclusively played shooters on mouse and keyboard for the better half of a decade, but the narrow FOV and 30 FPS weren't doing your boy any favors. Once I loaded into Destiny for the first time in I don't even know how many years, I went to the one place you all would expect me to go. The piece of content you've likely been waiting to see this whole video. All right, where's Gambit? After crying for 5 minutes once I realized our beloved Gambit didn't exist until 2018, I went back to where it all began. Even though Destiny's campaign wasn't known for being very good, there were still very recognizable missions throughout, so I wanted to play through them again all these years removed from the original experience. The first thing that caught my attention was just how gorgeous Destiny is. It isn't as sharp as Destiny 2, but it holds up incredibly well. So well, I think you can make an argument it looks better than Destiny 2 from a pure art direction standpoint, which that's entirely subjective, but Destiny 1 has this sort of aged, mysterious, more grounded look when compared to the second game, which appears more saturated and stylized to me. I still think Destiny 2 is a beautiful game, don't get me wrong, but I think it's missing this ethereal, mysterious vibe Destiny 1 had. However, not everything in Destiny 1 is better than the sequel. It didn't take me very long to see just how far this franchise has come in some other areas. Whoa.
You just killed an Archon. And we got a warp drive.
Dude, we walked downstairs and then we walked here and killed one thing and the mission ended. Say what you want about Destiny 2, but the game has come a long way in terms of the mission design. How long did that take? 3 minutes? I was going through it pretty leisurely as well. When discussing the story missions in this game, most people will bring up the nearly non-existent confusing storyline, but that's just one of the issues. With the exception of one, every single story mission I played took me under 10 minutes to complete. And yes, I was overleveled for these missions, sure, but I also took my time through many of them. For this one in particular, the climactic final mission in the House of Wolves, I spent a few minutes looking around the entrance to the Vault of Glass, getting B-roll. I even did the unthinkable. I killed the enemies outside of the no respawn zone instead of just running right past them. Destiny veterans probably watch that and doubt I've even ever played this game before. In pretty much every mission, it's run or drive to some location, scan your ghost, run somewhere else, scan your ghost, run somewhere else, scan your ghost, fight a few waves of enemies, mission ends. Visually, the set pieces are incredible, but in this one, for instance, there was one room of enemies, and then I'm already there. Not to mention, there was another aspect of this early design with Destiny story missions that I noticed here. I've also picked up on the fact that a lot of these story missions, like there's no music. Like if I just sit here, you know, it's almost as if I'm walking in on just like in a patrol space, you know, instead of like all of the encounters being these like instance things for the story missions. It feels kind of just like I'm just kind of here on patrol, you know? I don't know if they did that on purpose. It was easier to make the game in that way. But yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that it's like a good thing or a bad thing, but it definitely makes the game feel different from how they design the missions now. That's the same though. Slide shotgun, always gonna work. If we compare these missions to what we got in things like the Witch Queen or the Final Shape, or even Lightfall, for as bad as that was, Destiny 2 is light years ahead of Destiny's original campaign. Once I killed the Blackheart again for the 12 trillionth time, trust me, I counted, I wanted to check out some of Destiny's other experiences. Now, despite hearing that a good amount of people still play this game, and getting proof of that by visiting a very populated tower and Vestian outpost, I was surprisingly unable to successfully matchmake into a Crucible match. Something that was pretty disappointing considering there are a decent amount of maps I remember from Destiny 1 that haven't been moved into the second game that I was looking forward to playing. Same was true for Strikes, although this one was admittedly more of my fault because instead of using one of the 4 Strike playlists they have, I queued up for the Nexus specifically, again because it's not in Destiny 2. At least to my knowledge it isn't. That would be kind of embarrassing if it is. I will also add another amazing cheese strike that Bungie fixed. It also has Taken now, so the original version is likely not accessible anymore if you've never played it. From there on out, I basically hung out at the tower, switched to my different characters to remind myself of how little of a life I had, and was reminded of several exotics I totally forgot existed. I know the majority of them were re-added into Destiny 2, usually reworked in some way, but I was surprised to see how many are still available in Destiny 1 only. As a matter of fact, my favorite Destiny 1 helmet isn't in Destiny 2, and I forgot about it. What man have I become? So, how does Destiny hold up 11 years later? Is it worth returning to? Is it worth buying and playing for the first time? I would say it depends. First and foremost, if you have never played Destiny before, you can actually go out and buy all 3 years of Destiny content right now in one bundle and play it from beginning to end. Maybe not literally everything. I think things like the Sparrow Racing League don't exist anymore, but you know what I mean. All the major campaigns, raids, Crucible maps, strikes, they're all gonna be there. I know Destiny 2 has way more content than the first game at this point, and Destiny 1 wasn't free to play, but that is a big plus. Letting players play through the game you made all the way through. What a concept. Destiny 1 still has the Eververse store, but overall, there are way less aggressive microtransactions fighting for your money and diluting the game's loot pool. Rep boosters changes the appearance of your respawn for 2 hours. Bungie looked at this and said, hold up, we can sell these actually. Let's make money off this. Hold on a second now. Even though it only plays at 30 FPS, the game looks gorgeous, it sounds amazing, the gunplay 1,000,000% holds up, shooting a dreg in the face is just as satisfying now as it was then, seriously never gets old. Destiny 1 has a more basic structure. You have your daily missions, basic bounties to complete, and the Nightfall Strike gives you that cool flame effect on your head to flex how unemployed you are at the tower. If you loved Destiny 1, everything that you loved is still here waiting for you. I would imagine there's certain things you wish were in Destiny 2 that are here in Destiny 1 waiting for you. If you managed to pull together 5 friends and run through the raids, you would likely have a blast, even if they're already in Destiny 2, with the exception of Wrath of the Machine. It would still be fun to play them here. However, if you didn't like the original Destiny, or you're looking for a good story game to play, this is not the place. At least, the first year of content is not. The campaign is honestly worse than I remember it being. You can seriously tell this was thrown together last second from both the story and the design of the missions. I don't want to look at this game with rose-colored glasses on. It certainly wasn't perfect. It wasn't what Bungie promised, and probably not what they hoped it would be. Destiny doesn't hit every nail on the head for every player, but the things that it does nail, it really nails. And all these years later, it is still incredible in those areas, and you can see exactly why it sunk its teeth into so many people. For myself and for a lot of others, those elements were enough to get them to spend countless hours playing, in countless years caring. As for me, I'm actually excited to keep playing. Regardless of how well this video does, I want to do this same thing with The Taken King and Rise of Iron. Especially The Taken King, because that for me was probably the peak of Destiny that was never topped. So if you're interested in that video, you can expect it next week. And in the meantime, as I mentioned before, if you want to hear about how I broke free from the addiction that is this game after the final shape, I've got that linked below in the description for you as well. But now I want to hear from you. When was the last time you played Destiny 1, if ever? What do you like about it compared to the second game? If you went back and played it today, do you think your opinion on it would change? Would your perception of the game improve, or would you find that it was worse than you remember it being? For me, it was basically about the same. I knew the game had flaws, but wasn't really playing the game for the story anyway. The world, the shooting, the loot grind, and the ability to play with my friends is what really kept me going. And if it weren't for Destiny, this channel wouldn't exist. If you enjoyed this video, letting me know by leaving a like is always greatly appreciated. For more content like this every week, make sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.